You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to The Spectral Zone with host Caz Rooney.
Good evening, guys and gals, and welcome to the Spectral Zone on Parasearch Radio. I am Caz Rooney, and as always, I'm your host. And tonight, I am being joined by Luke Walker, Luke Walker, and Vinnie Vineyard, aka Wrestling with Ghosts. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, but in your accent, it sounded like you called me Furry Fanyard. It's easier, yeah. Vinnie Vineyard. There you go.
Yeah,
it's hard
Vinnie Vineyard.
There you go. But also known as Funkmaster V.
Yeah, you are.
Yes, and then my friend Big Luke, who's as tall as a skyscraper, is with me as well.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I'm Parasearchic.
Radio.
Yeah.
Search UK. And Parasearch UK is a really cool name because that either could mean like you're searching for ghosts, or it could be guys skydiving searching for the University of Kentucky. Because
right, guys, we need to be nice. We need to let Kerry join us. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, honey. Sorry, they've started me laughing already.
This is going to be fun.
Oh yes. Yeah, we're already in the hot tub together. It's nice and warm here.
Right, okay.
I'm calling it the double. On my page, I'm calling it the double date with some UK hotties.
I like that.
I like that. That'll get some people listening.
Well, I appreciate you calling me that, Funk. I not from the UK, but you know,
I wasn't talking about you.
Just in case anyone hasn't realised yet, they're a bit mad. But they're lovely, but they're a bit mad.
Yeah, a bit is the wrong word for us. If you go to funkmasterv.com, you can kind of catch some clips of Wrestling with Ghosts, which is our paranormal television show that could be coming to a major cable network very soon. I've only been waiting on this email for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not dying in the desert of thirst, and they said they're going to email us some water because we'd be in big trouble. But yes, we have been for almost 6 months, 5 months. Yeah. They've been there's been a carrot on the end of a stick, and they're like, "Hey guys, you're gonna be famous soon. Wait a minute." And it's just we've been waiting on that. But years ago, me and Luke got involved with a knucklehead. It said he was going to get us with a cable network, and he he totally lied. And me and Luke are performers. We're pro wrestlers. We're musicians. We're comedians. We're
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, Renaissance men. We actually had a show we were trying to pitch called.
Hey, what'd you call me?
Jack
of what?
And a lot of people, and I always fear, and I don't know if Luke fears this too, but I always fear people think that we're
puppies.
In the
Yes, I hate them. They scare the mess out of me.
What?
They pee on the floor. Yes, I'm scared of puppies. They pee on the floor. They bite you.
No, you're scared of little people and alligators.
That's true.
Now, are you scared of crocodiles too, or just the alligators?
I don't know the difference because I'm usually changing my pants and running very far if I see an alligator.
Well, I didn't know if you had a distinction, like if you were like you could pick up a crocodile, but you would run away from an alligator. I didn't know if you had that distinction. But anyway, I always fear that people think that we got into the paranormal just to have a TV show, and we found out along the way that the at least in America, the genre of paranormal TV is all but dead. Yeah. And in fact, people it's basically you could show The Haunting, from 1999, that show that's like on A&E over here. You could show that. It would get 500,000 viewers. You could have a brand new show. It could have 500,000 viewers. It's almost the same number of people will watch whatever, so it's not really worth it for them to put any money in. And the people behind the scenes in Hollywood have said to me and Luke, you guys are the last hope for a brand new team to be introduced to American paranormal television. Yeah. Now,
because a year ago, we were going to Destination America. They were searching because there's a show called Ghost Brothers, which is kind of a comedy style, a little bit less than what we do. Yeah, but they had great ratings, and so they were looking for Destination America was looking for another team that was like that, and that they could market. And then they do a search, 230 different teams from across America, and we win that I guess competition type thing. We were the team they chose, and then Ghost Brothers season 2 came out about a year ago, and it tanked. And so basically Destination America, which runs almost all the paranormal programming in America, decided that they were just going to rehash all their old stuff or use people from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, and just, they weren't going to do anything new. So we actually thought we were done with trying to do TV. So we concentrated on our little independent thing available on ASY.TV at ASY.TV.com. We're going to ASY. Yeah, we decided we were having so much fun, and we're not broke, we're not destitute, we're not, we've got 100 different things going on. We don't need paranormal TV to live the rest of our lives. It's just something that we thought, from the people that saw the episodes, Carrie, you've seen some, I think, and they're fairly entertaining, and
very entertaining.
Funk's a really good-looking guy, and he gets all the ladies when he takes his shirt off and shows them that walk and he falls off the mountain.
He looks like a pimp.
Well, hey.
Sorry, darling. I love you.
The pimp game is true. Pimping ain't easy, I'll tell you that much. And then Luke's a good-looking guy with he's got his like country music, long hair.
Oh yeah.
7-foot tall guy. There's a lot of. I've heard there's several ladies locally. There's a lot of ladies locally that'll say, "I want to climb that mountain," and they're talking about the big Luke. But what's funny about me and Luke standing next to each other is I look like. People just assume Luke's 6 feet tall and I'm like 4'11", and all these women always come up to me and go, I thought I'd be able to pick you up and put me in your pocket. And what's funny is Luke's almost 7 feet tall, and I'm, close to 6 feet tall, and I tower over the women. They're always surprised that Luke, barely can fit. I basically have to buy vehicles whether or not Luke can fit in the front seat.
Right, guys. Not that I don't like your humour, but I want to get serious for a little minute. So I'm going to start with Luke. What actually brought you into the paranormal?
There is a wide variety of things that brought me into the paranormal. Just some things I experienced when I was a youth. But when I was a police officer, we have the drinking game. Every time I mention I was a police officer, you have to drink. So everybody drink up. Pour it down. Remember?
Vodka, cranberry. We bring our own sound effects, by the way.
Yeah, Funk is a diabetic, so make sure his is a diet. But when I was a police officer, the first episode of Wrestling with Ghosts revolves around a place that I actually was on a Christmas morning at 9 a.m. I was just sitting in the parking lot, probably taking a pee. And I looked at this restaurant, and there was a ghost in the restaurant standing in the middle of a table of a female spirit who we ended up allegedly talking to in episode 1. And that got me and my friend John Pruitt, who was also a police officer. That got
just finished the last one.
That got us starting a thing called Smart Paranormal, which is a name we stopped using now, but. and also there was like a ghost walk where they walk through Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Now, people you're from Scotland. People that come over here, most of the people that live here are of Scottish descent.
Irish
because
too.
this looks, Irish, and they say that this, is the closest they can get in America to Scotland or Ireland with the mountains and. But Gatlinburg's America-wise is a very old town. It's about 150 years old.
That's old for us. I know for you guys, that's
America old.
Yeah, that's America old. We don't believe anybody lived 150 years ago.
Yeah. They were doing a ghost walk through there, and they had an evidence book that they were showing people of all these pictures that were obviously, orbs and all this stuff, but it was obviously like light reflecting off of things and digital matrixing and visual matrixing. And so we set out to debunk all that. And then we got we started finding like open old churches and things. And we'd walk through them at night and do an investigation. We found out that while we were goofing around, a lot of stuff was happening, but we were trying to be the prototypical paranormal investigators, lights off. We got to have the lights off. We got to walk quietly. Are you here to kill us? When we're doing that, nothing was happening, but we're being dorks. Stuff was happening. So that kind of is what led me to start seeking out doing paranormal investigations how do I put this? We're also pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
And paranormal investigators and pro wrestlers are very similar in one aspect, as they want to seem much more professional than they are. I do pro wrestling for a living. I make a living doing paranormal investigations. No, it's a freaking hobby. So we took it as, so that's why paranormal investigation became a very strong hobby of mine. And then Funk got involved with it. And then we just took off as soon as me and Funk decided when me and Vinnie Funkmaster there get together and do anything, we could decide, hey, we're going to go learn how to line dance. And then next thing you know, we'll be on television line dancing for, America's Got Talent or something. It just, for some reason, me and him get together and do anything. It takes off.
Well, we got good chemistry together. I think that's, and I don't know who would lead between me and you. Would you lead being that tall? Is that would I have to do all the spins? I need to start doing the yoga. No, I think you could
just stand on my feet. We could do some kick flips. I know how much you like kick flips.
No, you just have to carry him around. You just have to pick him up and wave his legs around. Yeah. That would be good enough.
What about you, Vinny?
Oh, okay. I was about to say he is a huge guy. I've wrestled him a few times. I'm glad he's my tag team partner now, and everything he does is painful. Just because anytime you're messing with somebody who's 300 plus pounds, 7 feet tall, even when they're like doing the pin attempt in the middle of the ring, I'm sitting there going, I can't breathe. Oh my God, 1, 2, kick out. He's a huge guy. So anyway, what got me in the paranormal world is kind of an odd story, but it I went my whole life, not
stop it.
Stop that over there. Anyway,
quiet in the cheap seats, please.
But well, I guess I used to work at a alcohol and drug treatment facility for adolescents. And it was out in the middle of the woods where there was this weird kind of haunted location nearby. And one night I was driving home or driving to work actually, and I was listening to Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie or Art Bell. And I was thinking, with all that weird energy, and I work third shift as a counselor over there, with all that weird energy and all those sad stories, I wonder why nothing ever paranormal happened at work. And at that point, I never really saw anything much paranormal-wise, and I didn't know what I thought. But that night at work, I swear to the Lord, this is the craziest story, and I'll abbreviate it as much as I can. But they would have boys and girls. This facility was like a shotgun, and meaning like you could see one end to the other, the entire complex. Mm-hmm. And on one wing, they had boys and girls, which was stupid. to have boys and girls at one facility because they're the only time they're not worried about treatment. They're just worried about getting in each other's rooms.
That's a different addiction.
Right, exactly. You replace one addiction with another. And they're all adolescents, and when you're that young, you're just crazy about hormones and all that kind of stuff.
Hormones and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
you know how you make a hormone? You don't pay her. Hey.
I always heard that joke is you make a hormone by keeping her out of bed, but I don't know. Anyway, so or getting her in bed. There's a lot of punchlines to that joke. So anyway, so one of the counselor's jobs was basically to make sure nobody was having sex and nobody was getting into violence, any hazing or any gang initiations or anything like that. So my first shift down there, I was walking down the hall and this kid sat up in bed. It was kind of like a freaking horror movie, to be honest with you. He sat up in bed. His name was Justin. I remember that. He looked me straight in the eyes asleep and he says, "Buy me a PA today, JR." And he lays back down in the bed. And I take 2 steps. It was like one of those movies. I took 2 steps, and I was like, whoa. I looked back. Well, I'm a musician. That day, that very day, before I came to work, my guitar player in the band that I was playing in, JR is his name, bought a PA, and I don't know what you guys call it over there, basically a sound system, the speakers and the amps and he bought that very day. Now, I didn't tell anybody that. Nobody knew that. Nobody would care. So this was like a spiritual thing that was in this kid's. I mean, he just sat up in bed, looked at me, "Buy me a PA today, JR." Weird as heck. And I was like, that's strange. So then later on that shift, I got a moth flying all over me, a huge moth. I'm like, what is the deal with this moth? And then there was a grown man's voice that came from one of the girls' rooms. And I was like, oh gosh, there's a dude in here somewhere. And I'm running around like Inspector Clouseau chasing around a non-existent voice. So there was a lot of weird stuff going on. But after my shift at the end of that hallway, I get a break and I go back to my office to do paperwork or whatever. And it's at the other end of the building. And you could still see the residential side. So I walk down there, open the door, and behind me, about 2 or 3 feet off the ground, I hear this little, hey, hey. And I turn around, and there's nothing there. And so I call up to one of the other counselors, a girl named Jamie. I said, hey, where is Amy at? And she's like, Amy's in the other side of Amy's in the kitchen, which is in the other side of it's down there where the residence is instead of the offices. And so I was all alone because there's only 3 staff members and all these sleeping kids. And I was like, God, it is so weird. So I kind of moved the door around, and it doesn't make the same, because you wonder, there were a trash bag rubbing up against the door or whatever. So I go up there to Jamie, and I'm like, you won't believe this. But I sat there, and I opened the door, and I heard this little hey, hey behind my back, and the blood drained from her face. And she looked at me, and she goes, I was up here about 30 minutes ago, and I heard something come up behind me and let out 2 short breaths. Now, this is for the agnostics listening out here. The funny thing about that story is the thing didn't say, hey, hey. It let out 2 short breaths. But I always kind of like personalize things. So I said it made it say, because hey, hey, and 2 short breaths, like, almost sound the same. And I didn't feel like doing that with my, not quite that, but close. And then from that moment on, and I just found out that this was so weird. It was almost like I opened up all this craziness. And from then on, everything started to escalate in that facility. And with it, the children's behaviors got more sexual, more violent, more obstinate. And I watched a ballpoint pen that was laying on the ground come off the ground a foot and lay in another direction. I went into a room where there was nobody in there, and there was knocking on the wall that wouldn't stop. It got louder and louder. 2 girls said that they felt like they were being drugged, and then like
that was Cosby.
Hey, it's topical. He just got I don't know if you guys know. He just got sentenced today, which is terrible because I love that guy. But anyway, they felt like they got drugged, and then the wind shot down into the hallway. There was black smoke. And then people start seeing shadow figures. One about the height of Hey Hey, which we affectionately called her. And then one was much taller. And so you heard these stories about how little innocent creatures kind of usher in sometimes darker forces. And so at that point, I had a Christian friend of mine said, "This isn't any good. You need to get that." Everybody, it was almost like a pet. You know what I mean? At that point, nobody was freaking out. It was kind of like stories you told the part-timers that came in to freak them out and watch them get scared and whatever. And then you could pull pranks on them and make them jump a foot off the ground. But after a while, people are like, well, if the behaviors of the kids are going haywire, you kind of need to do something. And at that point, I used to listen to a lot of Malachi Martin, who was the closest thing to America ever had a pope, but he was kind of a expert exorcist. I did some research, went around the building, did some half-ass Protestant Catholic exorcisms, and apparently that pretty much solved everything at that point. But that was my indoctrination into the paranormal universe.
Wow.
It was pretty, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you could go anywhere and investigate, where would you go?
Well, Luke, tell them what we got this week, man. And this is one of the ones on the list.
Okay.
The dream places. Since we started doing this, a lot of people have said, hey, let's go to, the famous places in America, Waverly and
Trans-Allegheny, whatever.
The transsexual orchestra place. And but there's a place in Tennessee called Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary that is like the holy grail of Tennessee for ghost hunting, along with the Bell Witch Cave. And we've got an opportunity to go there with access that has never been given to a paranormal team to investigate for an entire day, Brushy Mountain. And like, there's a lot of people that have died there. There's a lot of people that have stayed there. It's, very violent.
You guys have heard of Alcatraz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of like the South's version of Alcatraz. Like Machine Gun Kelly was the most famous gangster from Tennessee. He was there. The guy that killed Martin. The guy that killed Martin Luther King, James Earl Ray, died there. So there's a lot of infamous human beings that were in this place. And what's exciting is we have a third partner named Travis who never shows up to anything we do. When we start,
the infamous Travis.
When we start giving out the paychecks, I bet he'll be there. In fact, today I saw him for the first time in 5 months or 4 months.
You saw Travis?
Anyway, yeah, I was up there with the Hasidic Jews, and I dropped them off in Gatlinburg, and I went inside to say hello. He looks fatter. What has happened to him? Anyway,
poor Travis.
Well, he's a good-looking guy. He looks like Luke describes him. They say Luke always says he looks like Tom Cruise that got stung by bees. He's a real handsome kid. He's just a little bit. He's got Mr. Incredible's body. But anyway, I love Travis. Tell him I said I love him. Anyway, so what's cool is Travis actually had the idea of like playing the "I Had a Dream" speech where James Earl Ray slept. I think would be a really cool thing to do. See if we get any activity there. And there's some other ideas that we had. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to end I guess season 2 at that place, because really that's the holy grail. Since me and him live, he's from Chicago, I'm from Baltimore, but we both live in Tennessee now. That's kind of like the holy grail of Tennessee right now, in the Mid-South, to be honest.
To be honest with you, I would love to look for the Bell Witch.
Yeah, that's something that I've tried to look into, and I've contacted the people about, but the people that own the property do not want people. They had ghost adventures with the Jack Douchebaggins went there, and they had horrible. The people that own the properties and everything just had a horrible experience with it, and they really don't want anybody going on their property ever again. Jack there was probably like, hey, he took his shirt off. Hey, come at me, bro. And might have turned him off a little bit. I don't know.
Well, and like we would be any better with your sound effects and Travis showing his butt crack every time he bends over. I'm sure we'd give the paranormal community and I'm there in a mink coat and an afro. I'm sure
anymore. So we're safe. You don't have to anymore.
I don't have. I could be the upfront person now. Except I'm terrible with small talk. But
right, I'm going to go to Vinny. Right,
yes.
Governor.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Right. What is, if you were going on an investigation, what's one piece of equipment you have got to take?
Well, Luke and I and Travis, and he's a real person, I promise. He does show up sometimes. He's not just a figment of our imagination. We all, we're going to be pretty boring on this answer because I guess Flashlight is, which is a great song by Parliament, not your Parliament, but the funk band. But the, because your Parliament doesn't do too many good songs. They do kind of cuss each other out politely, but they don't. But anyway, we go with Flashlight,
or they fall asleep.
But I, we do everything. Like, I'm not big into all the stuff paranormal people are into, and I feel like, we get involved, we get raked into these questions like, is television paranormal investigations bad for the field of paranormal activity? I think without a doubt, yes. I don't care. I still want the paycheck. But I'm an entertainer. You know what I mean? That's what I do. That's what I do well. I don't do much well. We're entertainers. But I do think it's bad, and I do think it's bad because people will watch old episodes of Ghost Hunters where somebody has an EMF detector. They don't know what in the world it does. They have all these applications. They don't know what any of this stuff does. Luke's educated me on some of because he hates this stuff. I'm always like, I have the diplomacy role. I'm always like the band. I'm the band mom. I make sure everybody gets home and everybody, okay, you had too much to drink. We leave the gig. I make sure everybody.
I never would have thought that of you. I'll be honest with you. I would have thought you would have been the one that everybody had to make sure was okay.
What's funny? This is the funny thing about my persona is I'm naturally the most wild and crazy individual, but I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs and nothing like that. And what happens over the course of anything that I do that's fun or a party or social situation is I become like the wild and crazy guy. Around midnight, I become Florence Henderson from the Brady Bunch. And at the end of the night, please
rounding everybody up. Come on, everybody, we're going home now.
Please quit videotaping his butthole. Why are you doing that? Quit puking everywhere. Every time you open your mouth, just stop, And so that's what I become. And I become miserable because I'm not a nice person, to be honest. And then so that's why we don't really, that's why I'm not in the music industry anymore. But to go on to the gimmick, Luke could tell you a lot more of that. But we have a philosophy. We charge the room with human energy. In our television show, we do a lot of strange skits. We make fun of other paranormal groups, and you can see that in season 2. We'll do things where we take off our shirts with girls around, or, we'll do any kind of weird and wacky thing. But the thing is, with our television show, we get insane evidence, and we don't need to sit there and do stupid gimmicks that some people do, because I think, and our philosophy is this, we don't go in there like he said, Zach Baggins, and you got to, if we're going to be famous, Luke, you got to quit.
You're upsetting Kerry now.
We got to PC it up a bit. Behind closed doors, we'll call them douchebaggins.
I could totally kick that guy's ass. I'm not worried about it.
So anyway, this one person's about to have a heart attack every time we say that. But anyway, douchebag. Contact in my eye, like this suction. Anyway, through the microphone. But
well,
well, all I was going to say is that we, the thing that we've come up with is with the spirits, ghosts, whatever these things are, we flirt with the women, we tease the kids, and we joke with the men. And if you ever watch our season 1, insane evidence. I mean, such stuff that's so original. It's never been on television. And I still, to be honest, can't believe some of our evidence isn't more famous, because there's just insane. We caught a full body apparition. There's things that happen with Luke that's unbelievable. You watch Luke; he's a 7-foot giant running out of a building. It's amazing. It's quite a scene. It's like Godzilla on fire. It's unbelievable.
Well, to me, I pieces of equipment is you got a camera, you got a flashlight, you've got an audio recorder that's on the phone. Basically, that's it, because we are in the business of proving the paranormal. We don't have a bigger picture. We aren't here to help anyone. We aren't here to, cleanse homes and things,
And
things
why
like that.
why don't we help anybody?
Because really, are you going to come to us for help? I'm a goofball giant with long hair, and you're a guy that wears a mink coat. Who are we gonna help?
We can't. We don't know how to help anybody. That's the reason. We don't know what we're doing. We observe and report.
Yeah, we're security guards. We observe and report. Right. And I think that if you go in and say, if you go up to 100 people and say, look, in this clip, the EMF detector went from 0.2 to 0.8. They're gonna, 100 of them are gonna go, yeah, and you've got to see video. You've got to hear audio. Nothing else is going to prove the paranormal to anybody, especially all these, charging, $800 for an EMF detector, or the rim job thing, or the ghost hunter, the ghost apps, and all this stuff. None of that's going to prove anything to anybody. You got to see it. You got to. It's fun.
But
I mean, what is it? Yeah, you got an Xbox Kinect controller with stick figures dancing around 160 straight episodes. That's not proving nothing to nobody.
Right, look, I have a really good question, actually. It's for both of you, but I'll go to Luke. Being professional wrestlers, have you ever felt that any venues you performed in were haunted? And that's from Gary Bradfield in the chat room.
You're normally so involved with what you're doing. I mean, I know a lot of people now think the public has not. God, why did I stutter? The public. I haven't done that since asking my first girlfriend out. The public still doesn't have a good idea about pro wrestling. Once upon a time, everybody believed it was actual fist fighting. Now everybody thinks we get together and choreograph, and it's a big dance. And the truth still is in the middle. And when you're at a venue, you're worried about having a good time, because you are visiting your brothers, in a weird way. They're not really your friends or anything, but you're a brotherhood, and you do have friends in it, I guess. But you're also worried about performing, and so your mind is not really in that observe moment. But I don't think I don't think I have. We saw there was in wrestling. The one thing about wrestling that happens, and what happens to wrestlers, is we die young. I'd say the average life expectancy of a wrestler is either in his late 50s or early 60s. We drop dead pretty quick. And so we do a lot of, tribute shows. And there was one tribute show where somebody caught a picture of what looked like he was a black guy, and everybody loved this guy. He was a tremendous human being. And it looked like him kind of running. And it later, dude, this photo was freaky. But after much deliberation, me and Luke decided this was a child running, and the smoky thing at the bottom of his feet was actually a shadow. And what made it look weird was all, at a wrestling show, there's all these crazy, disco lights and everything. And it just made the shot, it made him look ethereal when and he was running, but it wasn't a spirit, it was a kid running. But that was probably the only thing.
Now I'm going to give a completely different answer, because I've been wrestling around America a lot longer than Funk.
Well,
I have
then just shut up. I'll just shut up over here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I wrestled in a couple places up northern Illinois, or northern America. In Milwaukee, a place called the Rave, where Jeffrey Dahmer picked up a couple of his victims, and that place was messed up. It was an old, a couple of his meals. That place did have a spook about it. There was a place in Wisconsin, again, in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, called the Eagles Club, that you didn't really feel, if you were the first or last one in the building, you got out of it as quickly as you could. And also in music, I played guitar and sing, and there's a place in Chicago called the Riviera Theater that really was a place you didn't want to wander around alone. Without you get those real strange feelings about it. So yeah, there's been times where I have felt, I'm not going to say I'm sensitive or anything like that, but I might be. I mean, I cried when I watched Pay It Forward with Haley Joel Osment, so I'm pretty sensitive. But
did you really?
Yeah, man, that movie at the end when they're playing in the arms of the angels, and I'm like, ah.
The Green Mile gets me, man. Every time they kill Michael Duncan,
I guess everybody that one does.
Yeah,
that gets everyone.
Yeah, that's too much.
Is it anywhere do you think you guys wouldn't investigate?
No.
We'd go in. You know what's weird? It's not that we're fearless. In fact, one of the famous videos we have is what Funkmaster V fears, and I don't like bats and possums and rodents and gross things. And if you go to YouTube, you can see that bat montage where I keep running into bats. It seems like there's some sort of funny, like God has a sense of humor, and I'm always the one that walks into a room where there's a freaking bat. But there's I don't even go to baseball games because there's too many bats there. But anyway,
Florida. I won't investigate in Florida.
Oh,
because of the alligators?
Yeah.
Well, Caz was talking to Mark Muncy last week about Florida, and we didn't realise how freaky. We now call it
Florida actually is.
Yeah, we call it freaky Florida now, not the Florida you have in your mind from over here, because all we hear about Florida is, the Disneys and the Universals and all that sort of stuff. Well, Mark showed us a completely different side to it.
Yeah, it's around here on Facebook. If you see a news story that starts with the words "Florida man," it's always just the most messed up thing, and it's hilarious.
Dude,
like Florida man eats his own poo and then shoves it.
Yeah, Florida man eats roommate after snorting bath salts. I mean, that's every day. I used to live in Florida for a minute. I was down there for a cup of coffee, and it's a crappy place, man. There is just so much.
I've got this. Just so you guys understand, I've got this thing about fear. I'm not afraid of humans. I'm not afraid of snakes. I'm not afraid of spiders. Not afraid of almost anything on this planet. There is a famous thing of me getting scared of a poltergeist on the episode 4. But that
you
was
should have, because the thing kept saying your name over and over again.
Yeah, I mean there was reason for me. But I have an unreasonable fear of alligators and midgets. I can't go around any of them.
Oh, Florida's not the state for you, then, babe.
Right. The Snow White and the Seven Dwarves is there at Disney World.
I will drive around the block if I see a midget. And if I saw a midget on an alligator, I would probably just go ahead and just drive right to the cemetery. So.
Oh, this is probably not a good time to tell you that I'm only 4'11". Never mind.
Well, that's not a midget. You don't have stumpy legs and
yeah, you don't have a beard, babe, but you're fine. You haven't got a beard. You're gorgeous. You're not a traditional dwarf. And she certainly hasn't got an axe. That's all I'm saying.
About a pot of gold. You got one of those pots of gold?
I love this. Someone's just put in the chat room, someone buy him a midget alligator.
That's a great idea. That is a fantastic idea.
Christmas present.
Yes. I'm writing that
like
down.
A 3-year-old girl.
We have a wrestler down here who's afraid of penguins, and he was in a battle royal.
How many penguins do you get there?
Zero. There's none. And I have no idea where that came from, but the promoter paid a kid like $20 to dress up as a penguin. And the guy was in the battle royal. He turns around, sees the penguin, the music's playing, and it's something like, Carol of the Bells or something, something from Christmas. He turns around, he's like, whose music is that? And it's a penguin waddling down, and he eliminates himself from the battle royal over the top rope and runs out into the field where we were wrestling, or outside, And the penguin just chased him all night long to the parking lot.
I bet that was hysterical. In fact, that's a challenge on the table, isn't it? Just putting it out there that you're afraid of something, regardless of what situation you're in. Because if you've got a really good team around you, you don't tell them you're scared of something, because then they will use that evidence against you. You know they're going to do that.
Me and Vinny are Funk Master. There are Chicago and Baltimore. We're city boys, and there's a rule from that if you live in the city that you know that a lot of people don't is you give it, you get it. You know, if somebody's going to come after me with an alligator or a midget, which would be funny, they know that I'm going to find their deepest fear, and I'm going to somehow find a way to get it to them.
We call it breaking balls where I'm from. If you break each other's balls is what it is. But, but that being said, when it comes to the things of paranormal, Luke and I don't have any fear. He got worked up. If you do watch episode 4, it's called Going Postal. And I swear, if Ghost Brothers or Ghost Adventures or Ghost Asylum, anybody ever been in that building, it would be world famous. Because we did it, and we're still on the up and up. Nobody knows about it. There was so much stuff that happened in this post office that in the middle of the night, we were taking pictures and doing some publicity shots. About 20 feet up in the air, where nobody could reach, somebody bangs on the window. And it's a ghost, and like 3 of us turn around, me, Travis, and Luke, and we just said, enough already. Like, we had seen so much paranormal stuff. There could have been a ghost like Casper come out and grab our boobs, and we'd have been like, would you go to bed? Good grief. We want to get the heck out of here. And what's unfortunate about that is now the people that own it will never let another paranormal team in there, and we were able to shoot 2 full episodes. Crazy stuff happened the entire time. And it's one of those cities where there's like 55,000 strange and horrible things happening within 3 city blocks, energy all around. And you see Luke, a former cop, former SWAT team member, pro wrestler, weightlifter, tough guy, hunter, the whole, hey, how you doing? Vodka cranberries.
Pours himself another drink.
Feeling good. But you see this guy, and he gets it's the chopping down of a 7-foot tree. It's just giant of a man.
You have the first thing that happens is we're all dorking around. We're taking our shirts off and slapping each other in the chest and charging up the place, acting like morons. As soon as I walk out of this room, I walk into another room that's got lockers in it. One of the lockers slams shut right in front of me on video,
on camera.
On camera, and then this pallet gets flipped over. Behind us.
You always forget this. The locker slams. You sit there. You've got the camera. You cover up the microphone because you're nervous as hell. You walk into one continual shot. You walk into the next room. Full body apparition walks by the door. Yeah. Unbelievable. And you don't even. You're like, what was that?
We didn't see it really until we were reviewing the evidence. But I had like a roll top desk thing slam on me. I had a door slam behind me while I was standing on stairs. There was no door, but a door slam behind me. This thing we've caught it saying my name 4 different times on. It's just that thing had me that night.
And you talk about breaking balls. Yeah, for real. And you talk about breaking balls. So we were there. The episode is actually 2 investigations that we did into one. Report into one, and there was a birthday girl there, and this place was one of those sexist places. I'm sure you've been, like an all boys club. It was an all men's bar or something like that. So when the women came in, it was freaking out. We had a couple girls with us because, hey, we're big and funky. And what's going on, ladies? So anyway,
going on? Sorry, you got me singing.
These spirits keep messing with the girls, and I love women, and I don't like that. I'm kind of an old fashioned guy, and I said to the ghosts, I said, hey, spirits, I want you to listen to me. Be a man, buck up, leave these women alone. If you want to mess with somebody, mess with Luke. And I swear to God,
Caz does
swear to the Lord.
I do not do that.
You do
swear to the Lord. They frickin' changed the tune, and all of a sudden, it was Luke this, Luke that, throwing stuff at Luke. Something banged next to his head. He's starting to freak out. And like I said, you got a 7-foot tall guy that doesn't get rattled, and he's rattled. It's alarm. I'm smiling through half the episode, and then at the end, it's like, okay, this really isn't fun anymore. This is kind of weird, to be honest.
Well, I've got another question in the chat room.
Well, let's do it.
Right, I'm going to start with the governor.
Hello, governor.
Hello, governor.
Governor.
So,
Which for people that don't know is funny because Vinny is running for the governor of Tennessee.
yes. I was
Why
getting
not?
round to that,
But we love that new name.
That's it. He's no longer Vinny. He's now governor.
Is that governor?
Yeah. So, if you could investigate anywhere in England, where would you go?
Probably wherever you two ladies are. Where's your next one that you're doing up here? Now, that's a great question. Any of the castles, man. We don't have those here. So I would anything that's got a good story. We like the stories and we like to do skits about those types of things on the show. And that's, gosh, man, I hope Wrestling with Ghosts gets picked up, and that's what me and Luke, we sit there like girls at a slumber party with our feet up in the air, talking on the phone about what ifs and dreams. But the coolest thing, do the first season if this thing gets picked up, and we're not footing the bill on the front end. Do the South, do the Midwest and Northeast, and then bada boom, go out do England because and Europe, but. I would do, anywhere it's got any of them stories, any of those old castles, man, frickin', yeah, I'm down. Where's Scotland, Ireland, England, anywhere you point me there, I'm there.
What about you, Luke?
If I were to want to go visit anywhere in England, it would be Australia.
Yeah, Americans are terrible at geography, by the way. Yeah, I always wanted to go to Hong Kong over there.
I actually nearly spat my drink out.
There was a place that I saw, and it was this awful show that you guys probably make fun of because Derek Acora or whatever his name was on it.
Most haunted.
Oh, he's hated. Did they say he was hated?
Yeah, no, he's awful. No. This guy.
Oh, you love him?
No, did you ever see him do that thing where he did the seance of Michael Jackson? Is the funniest damn thing I've ever seen.
I did see that. Yes, I did see that. You tagged me in that post, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
That was post Most Haunted. If you've watched it, to be fair, if you've watched the Most Haunted, I think the funniest above that was the Caz knows what I'm going to say on this one. It was the Dick Loves Mary when they were out looking for Dick Turpin.
No. It was Mary Loves Dick.
Mary Loves Dick. Sorry, yes. Mary Loves Dick. Mary Loves Dick. And he kept saying it, and you could literally, the cast were trying so hard not to corpse. And he was like connected in, and he kept saying it and kept saying it and kept saying it. Hysterical. I'm going to tag you in that one. If you've not seen it, I can't believe you guys haven't seen that one. That is funnier than the Michael Jackson seance. I will just put that out there.
They did a place that was called, I think, Lep Castle.
Yeah, Lep Castle. We've just done a show on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go there. That place looked amazing. It looked like the I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Clue, but it looked like the house from Clue, the castle there.
It's an American classic.
Well, that's actually an island. That's not actually in the UK.
Well, then I don't want to go to UK. I heard you guys' food's awful.
No, we're amazing. We're absolutely amazing. If you get over to the UK, we've got Lancaster Castle and Oxford Castle that's been offered out to you if you get to the UK.
Wow.
Holy crap. Save our pennies. I'm telling you what.
Now, I've got a question. I was
going to actually say, have you ever heard of Pendle Hill in Lancashire?
That's Lancaster Castle.
I love Pendle Hill.
Yeah? That's that area.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
So you get yourselves on a plane, boys, and you on that investigation.
Yeah.
Well, I've got an important question before we get over there.
Thanks to East Anglian Paranormal. Just shout out to Gary Bradfield.
Fish and chips. Fish and chips. Are they, like here, fish and chips are always French fries, and I'm like, that can't be what you call chips.
No. You don't get French fries.
It is.
No, not in the UK. There is no French fry with fish and chips. It's
proper chips.
Proper chips.
What is a proper chip?
We're not even talking chunky chips. We're talking proper chips.
It's
I don't
where
know what
you
that means.
peel the potato and you slice it and you cut it into big chunks. That's proper chips.
Yeah.
Okay,
There
well
we
that's French fries. See,
Well, when you get to the UK,
See,
we will take you to a proper fish and chip shop.
You go
And get
listen.
your proper chips.
You think French fries are what's at McDonald's. There's different types of French fries here. There's the big thick ones. There's curly Q ones. There's the shoestring type.
Nah, none of that crap. You got to have proper chip shop
chips.
I can't even say it, Caz.
Proper
chips.
chip shop chips.
What do they call French fries in France?
Skinny.
Skinny.
Oh, okay.
It's like they're the skinny fries over here.
But so in France they call them they just call them the skinnies. Give me the skinny. That over here that means give me the inside information. Okay, well you're not French. Why would you know? But again, Americans are like, well, you just go down there and ask them. You're just right next door to them. Like all we have are the Mexicans and the Canadians are they're just so nice. Who wants to drive all that way for them to go? I heard your mom's a nice lady. Thanks for nothing. But anyway, we don't. Canadian graffiti is like your mom is a nice lady, spray painted on a wall.
Toy Story 2 was good. Yeah.
I'll tell you what the French is for skinny fries. It's frites maigre.
See, I shouldn't even have asked. That's a disappointing answer.
Yeah, and it's not proper chips.
No.
Okay, well, that's what. So we call those potato wedges. I think is what you call them. They're kind of like they're like a circular.
No, wedges are different. No, wedges are different from like chips. Wedges are different from chips.
Well,
wedges are wedges.
Guys, the easiest way to solve this is just come to the UK and we'll take you to a chip shop.
Yeah.
I like to belabor points though. That's what's fun for me.
We talked 10 minutes on chips. Yeah.
I like to waste airtime talking about chips.
Well, Chips is Erica Estrada and the white guy on a motorcycle, the California Highway Patrol. But anyway, to us, chips is like they're in the bags. You guys call them crisps. Those are we call those chips.
Yeah, they're crisps. Yeah, they're crisps.
You call them crisps.
I have this with Jay all the time. The difference in translation. I have this with Jay Lynch all the time. Yeah. Now, when you come to the UK, we're going to take. So we're getting an itinerary here, Caz. We've got a night out, chip shop chips.
Chip shop chips.
We're going and we've got investigations in castles.
Yeah,
we've definitely got a night going out and getting absolutely rammed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's getting drunk, by the way. Just saying.
Well, that too. Well, that one form of ramming will follow the other, I'm sure.
See, I told you I can't help it. It's just what pops out of my mouth.
Oh, she's shocking.
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 We've actually got quite a good week so far lined up.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like. I'm looking at plane tickets right now. Let's see. Okay, there's my life savings. All right, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. I know. Hence why I've never been to America.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I talk to British people all the time, and I'm just kind of amazed. I'm like, gosh, how can you afford to come here? But they're always surprised at how we don't travel. Like America's just a really big friggin' country, and so we kind of go in our own country mostly, to vacation. But I've always wanted to go to Europe and just never have, and it's been a travesty so far. But that's definitely because that's a great, a week you get on the, go through the trains and stuff and visit as many countries as you can and take it all in.
Mm. I'd love to travel more than I've been able to, but funds. It's always down to the funds, isn't it?
It's always down to the pennies.
Sorry, guys. Right. You do a show on Paramania, don't you?
We do.
Yes.
You do.
Big and Funky's Ghost Show a Go-Go.
You do. How's that going?
Well, we've done podcasting a lot together, and I got injured. I got into my first car crash New Year's Eve, and basically couldn't walk for 3 months. And I've lost a lot of muscle mass, and I can't really wrestle at the moment. And this haircut gimmick was intentional. I let my hair grow out and my beard grow out. So when I got the haircut, people would be like, oh, wow. And I was going to tie that to something. Because in wrestling, there's a term called, if you're going to die, die in the ring. So every time you do something like a haircut, some sort of physical alteration, like if you go out and get, fake boobs or real boobs or silicone.
Why do you keep having to bring that up? They look good on me.
I don't know why a straight man would get boobs. But anyway, whatever it is, whatever transformation, you go out there and you associate it with something so there's a payoff. But anyway, that's old carny stuff. But so Luke's really awesome, and he's very creative and very intelligent, even though he does a lot of bathroom humor. And he's there. I forgot he was there. He's a jerk. So anyway, he enjoys when we go out and do comedy videos and skits and commercials, and we're getting into making commercials and music videos for people, and that's going to be fun. But the wrestling, all this stuff, but I couldn't do any of that, and so he was like, let's get the podcasting again. And we actually had 3 or 4 different offers from 3 or 4 different networks that wanted us, and we went with the Paranormal Radio because we knew Jay Lynch, which you deal with, and we lost a lot of heat with signing these damn television contracts where we couldn't do anything video wise, and so we were going. We had tons of people, tons of fans and friends trying to cheer us on and support us, and all of a sudden, out of sight, out of mind. So we were like, let's get back into radio, and it's been good. I like playing the music. Me and him alternate, and we normally play something funk oriented or R&B, and I enjoy the music aspect of it. And I'm sorry to monopolize this, but the big gimmick is I used to be in radio. I love radio. Radio is my favorite form of entertainment over music. Doing ghost shows, pro wrestling, whatever. I love radio. There's something romantic about it. There's somebody in his car driving down the road at 2 a.m, and he dials in, and somebody's communicating, and it kind of hits out there in the middle of the night, and it's gone forever. It's like it's a moment in time. I have memories listening to radio that will live forever. And you can't buy a DVD of that. Like, I watched an episode of blank tonight. It was great. You go out and buy the DVD, and anytime you want to watch it. But those things are special. And me and Luke want to get famous in television and get enough money and notoriety so we can actually go to like Sirius XM or something and get a radio show. And that's the end game. Is me and him as old men sitting there going, remember when I poked you in the butt with that saber that we found in that French castle with Kerry Greenway, arguing about chips, and so we can sit there and reminisce about all the stupid stuff we've done, and people will be hopefully entertained by it. But we basically just ramble for an hour, and somebody tells us
the biggest problem we have. The biggest problem we have is actually, we know it's a paranormal network like yours guys is, and we have an impossible time sticking to a topic that has anything to do with the paranormal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if people like that or hate that. We're definitely different than anything else on there. And they actually have pretty good shows on that network. A lot of times you do a podcast thing, and there's people that are like, they should never be in front of a microphone because they sound like they're boring themselves. But these guys are on they're pretty good.
Right. Do you guys have a favorite location?
Are we talking about the human body?
No.
I prefer that. I like the neck right above the collarbone, baby.
Oh, that's a good one. The nape of the neck. I'm telling you what. The nape of the neck is my favorite spot.
No, my favorite location is no more. It's that post office we went to. It used to be a bar. It's got a lot, good amount of history, and a lot of awful things have happened around it. But like I said, the place is still there, but nobody can get in it. I live in, like I said, this little town, Gatlinburg. It's surrounded by mountains, and we've done investigations all over this town. So I would almost say my favorite location is the city of Gatlinburg. Look up Gatlinburg on the Google and look at some pictures. This place it's amazing.
Okay, I'll look that up. What about you, Governor?
Well, since I'm running for governor, I love the entire state of Tennessee. I love whatever citizen of Tennessee is listening. I love their town the best. Hey, Luke, the Gatlinburg thing. Gatlinburg, people don't realize, is the second most visited tourist attraction on the eastern United States seaboard behind Orlando, and that's Disney World. There's 11 million visitors. It's insane. Its strip is a lot longer than the Las Vegas Strip. It's probably 3 or 4 times the size of Las Vegas' Strip. It's a wacky, weird place you'll never want for go-karts or pancakes. There's so many pancake houses, and of course you guys probably call them chip cakes or something. I don't know. You guys have lost the translation. But,
no, it's pancakes.
Pancakes is pancakes.
It's Sir Charles. It's Sir Charles cakes.
Is it frappes or fraps?
Nah, they're like the griddle cakes. The griddle cakes. Flapjacks. I don't know. Griddle cakes, hot cakes, pancakes. That's what they are. But anyway, there's a million.
Pancakes are pancakes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go.
They're like a batter base.
Yeah. We probably got that word from you. Thank you for that word.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Gotta love a pancake.
But yeah, my favorite place is right actually next to that. This is just insane. It's in La Follette, Tennessee. There's a place called the Mary Death Antique Store. This is episode 3 of Wrestling with Ghosts. Don't want to give away the gimmick of the episode. Insane paranormal evidence. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We're down there horsing around next to the Ouija boards. There's a almost broke like board game company that manufactured Ouija boards, but they couldn't spell it Ouija. They spelled it WEE-JI.
Oh,
it was Ouija board. That's a very meta pronunciation, but that
place was so cool because it's like it's a trip through American history to go to that place through toys. It's got it's just like an old junk shop, and it's got so much cool stuff in it. Old records and toys and collectibles, and the place is amazing.
And we caught some really unique evidence there, and one that really haunted me, I guess, is what you could say. So I'm sitting on the steps next to these just stacks of Ouija boards, and we found footprints there, little tiny baby baby girl footprints, maybe 10 years old,
on the floor,
and no other footprints leading up or away. It's the craziest thing. She had gnarly nails, by the way. Somebody needs to take care of her in the afterlife. Somebody needs to clip those things for that poor kid. But she needs a pedicure. That's right. She needs to go down the east side and get herself a pedi. But that girl, while I'm sitting on the steps, I'm saying, hey, I'm a father. I've got a daughter. Are you lonely? Dude, even as I'm talking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. Craziest sensation. I felt immense sadness. I feel it right now, actually, as I'm saying this. I just feel this little girl. She comes up, rubs my arm, and not in real, I don't know how you say this, but not in real time or whatever. You hear this little, but on the recorder, you hear this little cooing from a little girl. As I'm saying, I'm a daddy too. I'd like to play with you if you want to come up here, blah, blah, blah. Didn't hear any of it. I just saw the hair on my arm move. I felt it move. I felt the coldness, which is one of the few times we've ever felt that. And before that, you hear these weird EVPs about kill the brat, kill the brat. And
it turned out that the little girl was killed on that property by a nefarious drunk criminal.
Right, like a town lunatic or whatever, like a guy that was notorious for getting into trouble. He murdered that little girl there, and so weird, wild, sad stuff. And me and Luke, neither one of us will profess that we're experts in the paranormal. I don't know if there's really any experts, maybe demonologists. I don't know, but I don't know if these are ghosts, dead people, demons, aliens, people going from one dimension to the other, creatures we can't perceive. Midget alligators with machine guns and baseball bats. But we have no idea what's going on. But that seems compelling evidence for, that could be a little girl. I don't know, lost little soul.
Do you guys think, looking at UK and how we investigate over here and how you investigate in the USA, do you find there's a big difference?
Well, I've noticed, I listen, believe it or not, I listen to your station quite a bit over there. And just same as I do with Paramania Radio. And you guys take it way more seriously. I mean, there's people in America that take it seriously, and but I listen to you guys, and it's something that I can't. You guys know your stuff so well. You know your equipment. Like I heard Steve Gonsalves from Ghost Hunters did an interview on Paramania a couple weeks ago, and he said he was doing a symposium. Vinny's favorite word. He was doing a symposium with a bunch of paranormal investigators, and he asked them what an EMF detector did, and 75 people in there, none of them knew what it did. And then I listened to your station, and I guarantee every person on there knows that an EMF detector doesn't detect electromagnetic frequencies. It detects radiation, and that they know the difference between alternating currents and direct currents. And those are things that in America, people just, a lot of the teams and the people we've come across, all they know about ghost hunting is what they've learned from watching television.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I think paranormal television is bad, because everybody learns from it. It's weird. I was called to a house with another professional wrestler that wasn't Luke one night, and I'm telling you what, creepy. There's some creepy stuff that happened. There was pebbles. You know how they have like these potted plants with the pebbles kind of as the soil? I don't know if I'm describing
it. It's like a top thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And like every time pebbles were being thrown across the room, like every 2 minutes. And like we got a call from the number 666, and there was like the kid's voice was on the other side. We listened to it, and it was like her children crying, like it was recording of earlier in the day. And I'm not making this stuff up. This sounds like I'm just making anybody listening to this like, this guy's just full of crap. But the guy that I was with was like doing the Zach douche Baggins. He was doing the provocation thing where he's like, come on at me, bro. Where you at? I'm like, dude, we're supposed to be religious representative. I mean, I don't think Jesus would be over here going, see these guns, motherfucker, come on. I'm just like, we're not. Why don't you just go over here and ask questions or just observe? Because, I mean, a freaking coffee table flipped upside down. So I think we Americans are always obsessed with entertainment and stuff, and hardly anybody reads books because we don't want to be losers. And
losers read books.
Losers. Anyway, everybody watch Steve.
Yeah, but you guys are actually you put a great public marketing persona out there, but you do know your stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Are you saying Americans or me and Luke?
Well,
you and Luke.
And Jay. When Jay gets his smarts out, and the same with you guys, when you drop this. What I class as a marketing persona, which you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
We're really like
you
this.
You do
though,
actually know your stuff.
Well, here's the funny thing about me, Funk, and Jay is, and I can't speak for Jay's, completely for Jay because I don't know him as well, obviously as well as I know Funk. He's my best friend and my heterosexual life mate. But we are goofballs, we're entertainers, we're musicians, we're pro wrestlers, but we also have, we're both exceedingly intelligent. We are, we both have IQs that could qualify us to be in Mensa. And that's not that little kid. I always get it mixed up. That's not the little kid touching people, right? That's something else. The Mensa's.
No, that's
we know what Mensa is. We know what Mensa is.
Yeah, we're smart enough to be in NAMBLA. No.
No. I'm running for governor. You can't say that type of job.
But we're both verbose. We are both eloquent when we want to be.
Yeah.
We study constantly, but we find it much. Most people find us pretentious as is because we tend to speak with larger words and full sentences. And if you've ever like text messaged with us, you'll see a period at the end of every sentence. You'll see a capitalization. You'll see we're
you
actually
get the full stops in the right place, and and actually, Luke, sometimes when you've messaged me, particularly regarding tech, knowing I'm not a tech kind of girl, you've actually made me step back and go, oh my God, that's clever. So
now Travis, our partner, speaks in emojis. You get like a little lion's head, a sucker, a lollipop, a black person.
Pictures of his penis. Yeah, pictures of his penis is a big one. Yeah.
Oh, I need to message Travis. Hey. I need to add his to my dick pic collection.
Yeah, you need to release that. It's like Gene Simmons from Kiss. He has an album called Snapshots. But anyway, Travis, great. Now, if there's people listening, and they should, because Carrie and Caz are both great, Caz, with this show. But Travis Graves is our elusive third member, and he's had a hard life.
Yeah,
and what
terrible.
makes him happy...
Got 14 kids with 17 different women.
In 23 different states. But if he doesn't know who his dad is, and that's shoot. But if you are in the chat room or you listening to this broadcast, look up Travis Graves. It's just like the word Graves, but it's S.A. Graves. And Luke and Funkmaster V will be his mutual friends, and he's a good-looking guy. If you could please message him through Facebook Messenger. He loves photographs of shirtless cowboys.
Just loves.
And that's what
sweatier the better. Yeah.
It gets him through the day. So if you could send Travis Graves pictures of shirtless cowboys and midget cowboys, he loves those too.
Poor
just
Travis.
shoot those over to Travis. It gets through his day. He has a lot of kids, a lot of bills, and a lot of butt crack.
I just want to put in there. Earlier on, you said about a moment in time with radio. Governor. I'm going to call you Governor from now on. I'm sorry, it's now your name.
Governor Funk. I like
it. Governor Funk. There is a film called... It's called Pump Up the Volume. It's a really old film. It's got Christian Slater in it. Check that out, because that kind of encompasses that moment in time that you was talking about. Sorry. When she was talking about that, it reminded me. And I wanted to put that out there.
Pump Up the Volume. That sounds like a terrible movie.
It's a 1980s movie, so it's not great. Not gonna lie. Yeah, it's Christian Slater.
I remember seeing that at a family video in Westmont, Illinois. It was on the shelf. I was looked past it. It was one of those movies.
It's actually
I'm gonna check it out,
not as bad as you think. Give it a go. It's one of those moments in time kind of movies.
Okay, great.
What was that one that there was a Canadian movie called Brickleburger or something like that? It was about a guy. It was great. It was this DJ. It was his last. He was like a shock jock type guy, and it was his last day on the radio, and a zombie apocalypse hit.
Cool. Zombie apocalypse last day on the radio. That sounds like a plan. Caz, pop-up show.
Yeah.
Pop-up show. And I can't remember the name of it. It was like Finkelberg or Bricklestein or something like that. And it was just, it's on Netflix, and it was just an amazing movie.
Sounds like you're reading the random name generator.
I was going to say, that sounds really weird. Now, Gary says in the chat room that paranormal is my life, it's my blood. And a lot of people in the UK see it like that. They see it as their passion. And it goes beyond investigations. It goes into the research side of it as well, which is why we come across quite serious about it sometimes.
Well, no, that's beautiful. I really respect the UK way of doing things where it said it's very serious. Unfortunately, me and Funk, as pretentious and, asshole-ish as we are, is
that a word?
Yeah, asshole-ish. It's
it's really word. They just made it up.
It's weird that we do our thing. We do it with panache. We do it. We're funny guys. We're crazy.
Yeah.
And that's what works for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very jealous of the people that can keep it very, very technical and very, passionate. But like the law, what's the definition of the law is, reason free from passion. And to me, if we give you evidence, I'm sure people are going to be skeptical. They're pro wrestlers. Look at them. They're a bunch of butt nuts. They do a bunch of weird stuff and the evidence. But if I got some evidence from a guy that's like, Governor, look here, I'd be like, yeah, man, that's
Not necessarily. We get a lot of stuff like that in the UK where we go, really? But if you could imagine the marketing skills and the promotional skills of the Americans coupled with the seriousness and the research and that side of it with the UK, that could be pretty awesome chemistry going on right there.
See, that's why we're the best. That's why we're each other's best friends in the world. The Americans and the Brits. You can't beat us, man. We're like a frickin' McDLT, the cool side cool and the hot side hot. And we are the antithesis of each other, and two cultures separated by a common language. But
Pontypool. That's the name of the movie. Pontypool. Pontypool. It just hit me, sorry.
I love the way you was Googling that.
I was Googling that.
To be fair, I did have to Google the name of the movie that I was thinking of too. And Gary does say there isn't many shirtless cowboys in the UK. We don't really have cowboys in the UK.
Oh, you
hey, man.
We have farmers.
We have farmers.
Travis loves farmers too, and shepherds. Any of the shirtless men who are doing
if there's
doing
no shirt
work in the
sweat.
field.
I think the last shirtless man we had in the UK was Poldark. That was worth his soul. I'm going to upset the entire farming community with that comment.
You just have, Kerry. Thank you. Use my show to do it. Why don't you?
That's okay, no problem.
Now,
yeah, but Gary can Google shirtless guys from America and send it to Travis. It's not you don't have to pay
Gary.
You don't have to pay a tax or anything. There's no tariff on that. You can use Vladimir Putin if you have to. We can make this work.
Guys,
now I have a serious question for you two.
Okay.
Very very serious here, and this is a question I need answered. With Doctor Who now becoming a woman, what does that do for his marriage to River Song?
Oh, just.
It's a timey-wimey, thingy-wingy kind of scenario.
Yes.
You kind of just can't see it as linear. You kind of have to see it as that kind of thing. There is it's a timey-wimey thing is all I can say. Interesting. It's a timey-wimey thing, and it's an interesting...
You've got to remember, the new female Doctor Who is probably going to fast forward in the future, and she's got a husband and 3 kids.
Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. That's where we're going with that. I had to actually Google that.
I said I don't mind. If the marriage stays, because I think Alex Kingston's probably one of the best looking women ever to live. So that's kind of cool for me. River Song is probably my favorite character on TV. But I'm a big Doctor Who guy. And do you think that it was kind of ruined here with Capaldi, or do you think that he did well?
I didn't like Capaldi.
I didn't like him.
See, I'm more
David
Tennant, Matt Smith. That era was those.
I thought Matt Smith was weird looking. He looked like he was wearing a mask, like he was in the movie The Mask with Eric Stoltz.
Perfect.
He just weird.
No, to be fair,
David Tennant though was awesome.
David Tennant came in and he literally blew the socks off. He was the Doctor for a lot of people in the UK. He was perfect personification. And when he decided to leave, or whatever way that happened, and then they cast Matt Smith, everyone was like, "Who the hell is Matt Smith?" You know what I mean? However, how he overtook that role and made it his own was perfect. How they followed him up, I could see what they were trying to do. In my opinion, that didn't work because I lost interest and stopped watching.
Matt Smith didn't do anything.
I loved Matt Smith.
No, I'm sorry, David Tennant.
See, no, I both of those. You like?
I liked Capaldi. I thought his stories. I thought his storylines were really good.
No, I got a bit bored with that. But then
I also really liked Eccleston. I thought Eccleston was great. So,
Christopher Eccleston was not bad.
I like Tom Baker because he had a Jew-fro like I do.
I mean, going back in the day for the original Doctor Who series, Tom Baker was amazing. He's completely bonkers. and has some great storylines. I also liked Davidson, whatever his name was. Can't bloody remember his name now.
Peter Davidson.
Peter Davidson.
Yeah. Peter Davidson.
Peter Davidson. Didn't like McCoy. Sylvester McCoy. Didn't like him at all. So I think it's whether or not you can relate to the actor who's playing the character.
Right.
Well, Sylvester's Scottish, and maybe that's a shot at Caz.
Oh.
Is there a problem between you two?
No.
Do you need to talk
No.
No, we're besties,
on
mate.
this episode of the Doctor's Camp?
Well, I'm just saying. I just, it's she all the doctors, she picked out the one that was a Scottish actor. That's all I'm saying.
He was the last one, though, wasn't he, Sylvester? And it sort of like faded out after him. So
Hang on a minute, but David Tennant was Scottish.
I
That wasn't
love
Capaldi
David
Scottish.
Tennant. See,
Capaldi
I always
was
said if
Capaldi
he'd met
Scottish.
me, he would have married me rather than who he married. But there you go. Always
Did you
said
like
that.
Did you like Tennant's character on Jessica Jones, the Purple Man?
Never saw
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
You didn't see.
I
You
don't
didn't
watch,
see.
I don't watch much TV, believe it or not.
well, that's
okay, God,
good.
it was.
Very,
Well, I'll
I'm very discerning with my TV watching.
Well,
In all
I'll tell you
honesty.
something. I'm sick of superhero movies. I'm just there's too many of them. There's too many shows. I'm getting nauseated. But I will say if you watch the Netflix any of the Defender shows, which would be the Iron Fist and then mine and Luke's favorite Power Man, Luke Cage, or Jessica Jones and Daredevil 2 and Punisher. But Jessica Jones season 1 is the best of all them. But anyway.
Yes.
And Purple
And
Man
Tennant
was.
is
Well,
all
I've got-
on it. Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
two boys, and I'm a DC girl, is all I can say. DC,
Oh, there you go.
not Marvel.
Well,
DC.
Well, see, me and
Right.
Luke grew up in the inner city, and of all the Marvel people, the heroes for hire, the Defenders, they're the ones that we liked. Like we actually, Power Man and Iron Fist and those guys were actually the ones we liked because they were there defending Spanish Harlem and Hell's Kitchen and things like that, and that's something that we could relate to. And everybody else is like, oh, Spider-Man and Captain America and people saving the universe. I like the neighborhood type stories better myself, but that's just me.
I have
Right,
to. I
guys.
have to suffer them because of my boys, but you know.
Right, I'm going to take back control again.
Thanks.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're all
Radio.
good.
Sorry.
You're all good. But listen to you guys. I don't think either one of you could work with anyone else, could you? You're like brothers now.
We like to have on each episode, if we can, we like to have a guest investigator, somebody that is either in the music business, the wrestling business, or people
Interesting.
interesting people. Like we've had our friend Mitch the furry, which, if you guys don't know what furries are, they're people that dress up like foxes and go and sweat to death in their
I
furry
know what
costumes
they
at
are.
conventions.
There
And
you go.
we like to have somebody else with us, but as far as like a permanent person,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
there's it's impossible. We had we started. It was just me, Funk, and this other idiot, and we brought Travis along on our first investigation just to have somebody there to kind of that we knew we could kind of get along with, because Travis is a wrestler and I work with him and we like him. He's just an eternally nice guy. And so we can work with Travis, but everybody else we've tried to work with, even though they were, we've had a few good people along the way, they just don't work out because we are very rooted in 90s and 80s pop culture. So you kind of have to,
Well,
you kind of have to
70s.
get that to work with us. Yeah, 70s pop culture. That's the fun of Travis, is he's like a protege where we will go along. And we're big fans of the Jerky Boys. I don't know if you guys even know who the Jerky Boys are, but they did. We're huge fans of the Jerky Boys, and Travis had never even heard of them. And so it's kind of fun, and it's kind of good for the show to open his eyes to.
Yeah. Well, he's a millennial.
Right, guys. Go ahead, Luke. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna add my 2 cents in there too. Is just me and Luke. There's a lot to us. We were pitching a show called The Renaissance Men. We're wrestlers. We're musicians. I was a musician before. I was a professional musician. I paid my bills with music. It wasn't a hobby for me. So I'm a professional entertainer, and there's a lot of, and then I have an email and I'm sitting there staring at it. I swear to God, I have an opportunity to go box for the World Championship in India in July, and I'm thinking about taking it. It's chess boxing, where you combine 2 minutes of boxing with 2 minutes of chess, and you either beat them by hook or by rook. And I've been personally, with my MMA background and professional wrestling, I've been picked out, and they know I'm a chess player. And so I used to be a pool hustler. So we have a lot of life experiences assembly. Luke playing basketball, the only white guy on a court in downtown, Cicero and Bolingbrook and these places in Chicago, that Cabrini Green and places nobody would go. And so we have these life experiences, and we value living life. And that's why we bring levity to the show, is because we're not just about paranormal activity. Like, you said somebody in the chat room, that's all their life is. I love it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I dig it. But there's other things that crank my, I like classic cars and women's feet. I shouldn't have said that. But, consuming chocolate and, just a million, the video games and just anything. There's a million things I enjoy. So it's hard to find anybody in the people this age, when you're looking for a girl, or the network may like a young guy. What do you like to do? Oh, just sit at home and, watch this and watch that. And I'm like, go out and live life, man. And then you have people who are over the top, who are like super, hey, I went out there today. I was in Dubai last week doing paragliding, and then I was with some nuns in Scotland, and we were, parasailing, and then that's a little too over the top for me and Luke. We're a little bit, but so we're inner city guys. We live down south. We have a lot of, our religious faith is the same. Our political affiliation is the same. It's just going to be hard to find somebody that can fit in with me and him.
No, I think the two of you are practically brothers.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is me and Funk went up to Chicago about a year and a half ago for a wrestling show. And he met my actual brother, and those two acted like they knew each other for 100 years.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's true.
Do you know what, guys?
What?
We have gone half an hour over time.
Yeah, we did.
I was revving up. I thought we were hitting halfway.
Yeah.
Kerry's getting ready to kill me. But I have 4 kids in this house, and I can't be killed.
Yeah, I end up having to adopt them.
They serve like a human shield. If somebody's going to kill you, just throw the kids out. Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's how that works.
I just picked up on something, and I'll shut up for the rest of the night. But you just called me and Luke brothers. Early in the broadcast, you called you guys sisters. So
sisters and brothers.
Well, I'm saying.
Right.
Chicken wow wow.
Right, guys.
I'm saying.
You have. Right, guys. You have a minute. Please tell everyone where they can find you.
Okay.
You can go
for it.
Go for it.
FunkmasterV.com. You can get all the information that you need. You can find us on Facebook. I'm Luke Walker. That's Vinnie Vineyard, or search Funkmaster V with a K, Funkmaster. You can go to his YouTube page. It's hilarious. Funkmaster V on YouTube. You can also find on FunkmasterV.com the flash drive of Wrestling with Ghosts with 6 episodes, 2 bonus episodes, 3 commentary tracks, and probably about another good hour and a half worth of tomfoolery. That's $20. We'll mail it. You can go to Facebook and look at bigandfunkyproductions.com for our production company. We make commercials, we make TV shows, we do a whole bunch of stupid stuff. But yeah, that's basically it.
Oh, and my gubernatorial campaign's website is Believe in the Funk. And check that out. Check out the video that Luke and I shot, and Big and Funky Productions shot that. But it'll you can donate. You can read about my platform. I know a lot of you people are British, but if you believe in liberty and freedom and peace, and you're sick of all these damn endless wars that our countries are always involved in, you can help donate to the cause, getting Funkmaster V elected to governor.
Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock, paramaniaradio.com, Big and Funky's Ghost Show a Go-Go. And you can watch streaming 6 episodes of Wrestling with Ghosts on Asai TV or AsaiTV.com, ASY-TV. That is found on your Roku.
Yep. And other
wow.
services. Yeah.
You guys are busy, aren't you?
We are. Yes. I've got another show to do after I get done with you guys, even though I'm not going to tell her this, but you're my favorite.
Yeah. Which is why I'm going to make sure when you're elected for governor,
Yes,
you need to
ma'am.
come back on, and then we can have a party.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna have it's gonna be a funk jam. It's gonna be like Sinbad's Funk Festival over here. We're gonna Sly and the Family Stone and Cameo and Parliament and everybody who's alive.
Billy
get them
Ocean.
over here.
Can you get Billy Ocean?
No. See, Luke picks the music for our show half the time.
Elizabeth.
That was pretty good.
Singing again, man.
Karaoke. We'll do that too.
Yeah, live karaoke. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
No.
We'll do it, videotape it, and you'll like it.
No. You're not doing a live karaoke on my show, that's all I'm saying.
No, seriously, that ain't going to happen.
No. Right, everyone, I just want to thank you. Thank Luke and Vinnie, a.k.a. Governor, for joining me tonight. Please remember you can follow Parasearch on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube. And you can find old broadcasts on Podbean and SoundCloud. You have a competition as well, don't forget. If you listen to Parasearch Radio and you are a member of the group, you can win a reading with Claire Hinks. Awesome. Claire Hinks is awesome. So you want to enter that competition seriously, but seriously, Wrestling with Ghosts, Luke and Governor, thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. And anytime you guys are bored and need a couple of sexy paranormal type people, which they're not too many, you can always ask me and Luke to come aboard.
We will have.
All right, and I just liked Parasearch Radio on the UK because I was listening to it on SoundCloud before.
Beautiful.
So, everyone, say good night.
Oh, good night.
Good night.
Good
We
night.
love you, things.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.